I'm Stuart Thompson, editor of Digital TV Europe. I'm here with Steve Payne, who's President and Chief Revenue Officer at MediaKind. Steve, what are the kind of top trends and challenges you're seeing in the media industry generally at the moment?
Sure, I think that, listen, we all understand that what the cloud brings. It unlocks so many new use cases and so many different variables of how everybody can go to market, how we can access content. And what that brings, though, is as you unlock, there are two real challenges that are somewhat tied to each other, but it's about becoming the business case validation as much as it is the technology innovation. So you see really big demands on monetization, which is not new, but how you drive that top line. But at the same time, driving efficiency and managing the networks also. We've always known that video is going to consume whatever network it was, whether it was storage, whether it's being delivered, whether it's being consumed, however that is created. But finding the balance to really justify that business value that comes into the technology innovation as well. That's what the fundamental challenge, I think, for everybody is in this ecosystem. It drives how we build, it drives how we deploy, it drives our architectures now, is really thinking about the two sides of that equation.
Yeah. So what is MediaKind doing to kind of address these challenges?
Yeah, so, we really focus it from a few different legs within that ecosystem. From an AV perspective, we call it, but that's where we really get into monetization, especially things like advertising, driving more CPMs, driving more eyeballs and consumers into that ecosystem to help drive that CPM space as well. But also really looking at sort of the AV from the network component and how you keep turning that dial to optimize as much as possible in that network. That drives out cost from the ecosystem and helps for the overall business case as well. And then still very much from an experience and front end perspective on how people are consuming and engaging with the content. That's also another way to just drive deeper consumer and fan engagement to help with that same sort of monetization challenge that comes with it.
Great. And how does all this reflect what you're showing here at IBC?
Yeah, so, really it's kind of those three areas that we're really addressing, but it's important to note that we understand having these things integrated is very important. Having open API architectures to allow some best-in-breed decisions at certain times is also important, but it's sort of that three-legged sequence for people really to be thinking about how can I maximize the investments into my network while still being efficient. How can I engage consumers completely differently once I've made that investment in content, and then monetizing that through advertising. So the three things are very well sort of articulated and spelled out. I think it's now continuing to get even better at how you tie the business case and the business valuation to the technology at the same time. But that's really what we're showing here and what we're really emphasizing.
And finally, can you tell me about the latest developments and innovations you're looking at?
Oh, wow. The thing about our industry right now is the innovation curve, it just continues to rise so quickly. I think that, there are a couple things that we're looking at, and some of them are a bit newer, but really getting into things like analyzing the bitrate ladders of how content is really managed through the entire sort of consumption cycle, and allowing the network to be even smarter to realize what is the real consumption I need at that moment without impacting the video quality. We are always going to look at how we can drive that kind of technology, but we also come from just a space of understanding broadcast live television, uptime, reliability, and scale, and good old-fashioned video quality. So again, managing that to allow everyone to be, real-time efficient, almost leveraging AI again to be automatically efficient, but not impacting that consumer experience. That's really where we're going to contrive, and that's where we see a lot of our innovation.
Fantastic. Steve, thanks very much.
Thank you very much for having me.